Most places in the world has been the most effective response to extremism.
Commandant, National Defense College, Rear Admiral Thomas Locolson described the lecture as thought-provoking.
Threats kept changing, and we also have to change the concept of our training to reflect the threats that we are going to.
The lecture attracted participants from the Office of the National Security Advisor, Defense Headquarters, and the services in Abuja. Muhammad Abdul Qadri, NTA News.
President Goodluck Jonathan's declaration of a state of emergency in the 3 states of Adamawa, Borno, and Yobe has attracted many comments from Nigerians across board. Constitutional lawyer Dr. Mike Ozekhome, SAN, said this on NTA's program Early Edition. He applauded President Jonathan for declaring a state of emergency in the 3 states without removing democratic structures on ground.
Last month, saying, 1, there should be no declaration of a state of emergency, but 2, that if there must be a declaration of a state of emergency, democratically elected structures, such as the governor and members of the houses of assembly, should never be touched. If the National Assembly cannot make law for the removal of a governor or a member of the House of Assembly, then the same National Assembly cannot begin to agree with Mr. President to proclaim a state of emergency removing these structures. So the greatest applause for Mr. President in his action is that he left intact this democratically elected structure, because it would have been an assault on the sensibilities and constitutional provisions of the Constitution.
Dr. Ozekhome, however, advised on the need for the military personnel on ground to be cautious in the discharge of their mandate.
He made it clear to the soldiers, to the military forces, that your business is to search for these Boko Haramis, these people who have made this country ungovernable, these people who are planting alternate flags across Nigeria. No president, what himself, anywhere in the world, will tolerate that.
It's equal to the state of emergency declared in Adamawa, Borno, and Yobe states. Special Assistant to the President on Youth and Student Affairs, Jude Imagwe, has urged youths in the affected states to be law-abiding. He said they should see the situation as an avenue to contribute in ensuring that peace returns to the 3 states. He noted that the nation's quest for peace is a collective responsibility that should be taken seriously by the youth as they constitute the larger population. He said when this is achieved, it will not only be for the 3 states, but to Nigeria as a whole, which will attract more foreign investments for the desired development.
So the restoration of peace in the country is not a single responsibility of Mr. President or a responsibility of the security personnel that will be deployed to those areas. It's a collective responsibility, but more of us, the electorate, we the people of this country, which should be driven by young people, should be sustained by young people. So when the history of this country will be written for the return of peace in Adamawa, in Yobe, and in Borno, it will be said and be known that the youth played a major role to ensuring that peace returns to that state.
Mr. Imagwe, however, appealed to the security agencies deployed to the 3 states to adhere to the rules of engagement as stipulated in such situations. In the meantime, Nigerians have been challenged on the need for peaceful coexistence in order to become role models for others to follow. This was the message of the International President, Global Peace Foundation, Mr. James Flynn, at a national consultative meeting on the role of religious leaders and traditional rulers in building a culture of peace, national unity and integration. Talatu Ezebiki reports.
Talk to Peace as Nigerian stakeholders partner the Global Peace Foundation that is committed to peace and spreading the message of one family under God in building a virile society. The international president of the foundation called for collective approach and stand on peace.
But it requires that we come together, that we stand with one voice, that we promote an ethical society.
Right from the elementary level, secondary school, let's put together interfaith discussion so that our young people, we know that the enemies of Christians are not Muslims. The enemies of Muslims are not Christians.
Women must solicit and fight for peace.
Building on peace through love, integrity, equity, truth, justice, and shunning arts that do not conform with peace were the messages of the representative of the Sultan of Sokoto and the president of the Christian Association of Nigeria.
If we must build a new Nigeria, if we must build a great Nigeria, then we must all of us, do anything and everything it takes to build peace.
Every one of us return home, whether as Muslims or Christians, and deliver the right message to the people down in the grassroots that Nigeria must remain as one indivisible nation.
All the speakers made case for dialogue, respect, unity, and keeping alive the dreams of the nation's founding fathers. The foundation intends to build on this through a peace festival in November. In Abuja, Talati Zurike, NT News.
The Presidential Committee on Dialogue and Peaceful Resolution of Security Challenges in the North has refuted the Guardian newspaper publication of Tuesday, 14th May 2013, under the caption, Boko Haram Amnesty Panel Lied, says Kabiru Sokoto, alleging that the committee had stated that during its visit to Kuje prison on Thursday, 9th May 2013, it met with Kabiru Sokoto and held a discussion with him. The committee further stated that at no point did the committee state that it saw Kabiru Sokoto, let alone hold any discussion with him during their visit to Kuje prison on the said date. Time to join Ademola in our Lagos Network Center for the latest on students' protests on JAM results and other stories. Good to see you, Ademola.
Elizabeth, good afternoon and welcome to Lagos. In line with the World Health Organization Framework Convention on Tobacco Control, the Lagos State House of Assembly has held a public hearing on the regulation of smoking in public places. Kafayat Odusi reports that the public hearing, which was held at the Lateef Jakonde Auditorium, Lagos State House of Assembly, has in attendance stakeholders of the tobacco industry as well as other relevant organizations. Her report.
The Tobacco Control Bill, titled the Bill for a Law to Provide for the Regulation of Smoking in Designated Places in Lagos State and for Connected Purposes. The lawmakers argued that it is their fundamental objective to enact laws to protect vulnerable groups and communities in the state. These gave rise to the rationale of the bill in protecting the lives of non-smokers in the state.
There is no doubt in the fact that the bill for which we are all gathered here today is such that appeals to the public sentiment.
The protection of our environment, the protection of our people from smokers is about the health of our people.
While some are in support of the restrictions, others believe that the bill will to a large extent affect tobacco companies and discourage foreign direct investment.
Tobacco smoking is also definable and reducible to secondhand smoking, which in natural fact affects the person who is not smoking.
The bill, when passed into law, will restrict smoking to designated places specified in the schedule of the law. It will also be the duty of owners of premises of non-smoking areas to ensure that approved signs or international non-smoking symbols are conspicuously and sufficiently displayed on the premises. It will also be an offense to smoke in the presence of a child under the age of 15. From Lagos, Kafat Odunsi, NTA News.
Protesting candidates of the just-held Unified Joint Admission and Matriculation Examination, UTME, have taken their protest to the Lagos Zonal Office of JAM. Thomas Ogbetere reports that over 100 candidates stormed the secretariat, disrupting business activities in the process.
The premises of the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board at Ikoyi was a commotion center for the period of the protest by some rampaging candidates who have a number of complaints as a result of the 2012-2013 examination. The complaint ranged from inability to access JAMB website, mass failure, to inability to buy JAMB change of course scratch cards. Some candidates who took part in the protest complained that the result given to them could not have been their own, as they got results in subjects they did not register for.
Even though if you close your eyes to write JAMB, it's not possible for you to score 001.
The government would like them to do something. We need a better result. This result is out of it.
It's not complete. They gave me 3 instead of 4. English, biology, chemistry, no physics.
The coordinator of the Lagos office of JAMB, Mr. Kamaldeen Oladeji, said the challenges were as a result of the fact that all candidates were supposed to go through the biometric data verification before they could access their results. He, however, added that the JAMB registrar has given directives after the protest that all pending results should be released immediately.
And if you read through, it's stated there that some results are still being screened for one thing or the other. Majorly, what you have, mostly is this issue of biometric verification issues.
In Lagos, Thomas Ogbetere, NTA News.
We now take a commercial break now.
New Vitamilk Energy. Energize your body with the delicious multi-grain soy milk. Vitamilk Energy for perfect muscles and powerful energy.
You're welcome back. The knowledge of science and technology has been described as a panacea for solving critical issues. The guest speaker of the first late Professor Adetokunbo Babatunde Shofolue Memorial Lecture, Professor Ibidapo said this can be generated and disseminated for innovative use from the university. The report.
The lecture titled Ekinodem, the freedom to model, stable, robust and progressive Nigerian university system started with the effort of late Professor Babatunde Shofolue to reposition the University of Lagos as the university of first choice and the nation's pride before his death. The guest lecturer noted that there is an urgent need to revitalize higher education in Nigeria through policies, reforms, programs, and teaching tools, training of teachers as well as research in education. Professor Ibidapo emphasized that there is a paradigm shift for science, technology, and innovation for sustainable national development, which must be harnessed if Nigeria must get the desired development.
It is the need to collect and effectively utilize this knowledge that to collect and collate knowledge for power.
The Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos, Professor Ramon Bello, and the chairman of the lecture, the Most Reverend Adebayo Akinde, described late Professor Shofolue as a good team player who carried his colleague and the university community along.
He was involved with a good sense of humor, and hardly could anyone stay with him without being irritated.
He was tenacious when it came to doing anything.
Late Professor Adetokunbo Babatunde Shofolue was the 10th Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos and died on the 12th of May last year. In Lagos, Tunde Saiki, NTA News.
As our package from Lagos is back to you, Elizabeth, for more on Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Demola. Local government councillors from the 774 local governments in Nigeria are brainstorming in Abuja on how to take their rightful place in the nation's democracy as the closest to the people. Here is Abdullahi Garba with the report.
The place of councillors considers the least in the hierarchy of power, but the most important for their closeness to the people as a grassroots takes center stage as a convention. In a paper titled Enhancement of Good Governance at the Grassroots Through Proficiency Legislation, former Director General of National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Kuru, Professor Ahmad Damfulani, said councillors are key to stabilizing the nation's democracy. He urged them to legislate with transparency, accountability, sustainability, and inclusiveness.
Every local government councillor should see him or herself as the first port of call in any democratic system. And like I was mentioning, if you are a local government councillor, you could metamorphose into being a member of the House of Rep, a member of the National Assembly, and why not a president?
But the councillors say they are hindered by lack of separation of power, limited tenure, and lack of financial autonomy to function.
And that is why we are always agitating for autonomy of a local government system, where the councillors will now have full rights to perform their legislative duties.
Good legislation at grassroots is the one that can enhance good governance in this country, because councillors are more closer to the people than any other government function.
Established in 2005, the National Councillor Forum with more than 7,000 members has representatives from all the 774 local government areas and 6 area councils in the FCT. In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Bruno, NTA News.
An increased autonomy, mobilization for internally generated revenue, as well as appropriate leadership recruitment are part of the suggestions preferred by participants at the ongoing seminar for the 36 states and 774 local government areas of Nigeria holding in Abuja. The seminar, organized by the Senate Committee on States and Local Government Administration, has as its theme positioning local governments as hubs of national transformation. Deinde Falashe reports.
Addressing attendees from the various geopolitical zones of the country, the convener of the seminar and Senate Chairman on States and Local Government Administration, Kabiru Gaya, emphasized the crucial role of the local government in the lives of individuals and the society as a whole. He appealed for increased funding for local governments to enable them effectively serve the masses.
The issue of funding of local government, I think, should even be more. Reduce the federal level, increase the local government allocation, because they are more closer to people.
Waxing philosophical, elder statesman and Danmasin Kano, Maitama Sule, took the audience captive with his eloquent recollection of the good old days of selfless leadership in Nigeria. He enjoined upcoming leaders to transcend religious and tribal sentiments and focus on transforming Nigeria from the local government level.
Yes, I have a dream that Nigeria will one day become really and sincerely united.
Various papers touching on autonomy of local governments, internally generated fund mechanism, as well as appropriate leadership recruitment drive for local governments were analyzed at the public sphere provided by the seminar. Deinde Falashe, NTA News.
Contractors in Kebbi State urged to ensure timely completion of projects as Sokoto State Government expands Secretariat. Abubakar in our Sokoto studio brings us details of these and more. Good afternoon, Abubakar.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Contractors handling various projects in Kebbi State have been told to ensure timely completion of the projects and according to specifications. Correspondent Noor Okili reports that Governor Sa'idu Akingari made the call while flagging of some road projects in Bagudo and Suru local governments. This report.
The road includes 42 kilometers Bagudo Zaria Kalakala Besi, including Bagudo Township roads, and 35 kilometers Kaoji Lafagu, including Kaoji Township roads. Others are Kende, Sharibu, and Akingari, Bandam, Tambali, Bambi roads, all at the cost of about 15 billion naira, including bridges and culverts. Governor Sa'idu Usman Akingari said the projects are expected to further open up the state and boost economic activities. He disclosed that his administration is determined to empower people of the state through provision of basic infrastructure and appeal for continued peace and harmony in the state. The Kebbi State Commissioner for Works, Alhaji Muhammad Bello Tuga, said the road projects are being executed according to the ministry's blueprint for effective implementation. He solicited for the cooperation of the people of the area, adding that the ministry will ensure quality projects.
The contractors have already been mobilized with 20% of the total contract sum, and which means with this flag up by His Excellency, the contractor will move to the site.
Some members of the benefiting communities describe the projects as relief to their hardship and appeal for more from the state government. In Birnin Kebbi, Yoratan Kwakili, NTA News.
Sokoto State Government is to spend over 5 billion naira on the expansion of Usman Farouk Secretariat. This was announced at the end of the State Executive Council meeting held at Government House Chamber, Sokoto. The report was jointly conducted by Commissioner of Information Nasir Allah Dibako, that of Environment Jabi Kilgori, as well as Executive of Ministry of Agriculture. The Council approved the expansion of Usman Farouk Secretariat to the tune of over 5 billion naira in order to accommodate all the state ministries, while the Shehu Kangiwa Secretariat will remain as a housing unit. The Secretariat, according to government, is to provide shelter to 240 people, which is a step forward in ensuring that people of the state have access to shelter. The Council has also approved the construction of additional blocks and housing estate at the Murtala Hospital to the tune of over 300 million and 881 million naira respectively. Other projects approved include the construction of amenity suites at the Orthopedic Hospital Wamoko at the cost of 79 million naira, construction of Hamma Ali Road to cost over 177 million naira, as well as upgrading of salaries of traditional rulers across the state. Also, during the Executive Council meeting, contracts were awarded for the provision of solar-powered traffic lights in some major streets at the cost of 125 million naira, provision of 60 solar-powered boreholes, as well as renovation of Government Girls College Tambol at the cost of 75 million naira.
You are driving in Sokoto and you're looking for whatever name of the street, you should find the traffic light that leads you, traffic contain, make sure each of the roundabouts, you don't need too much. The traffic lights, now the lights on the roads are much better than it was.
State government has also received the State UBEC facility, which stands at 852 million naira. Contract for the construction of the befitting Jumat Mosque in Wamoko local government has also been approved by the council at the cost of 223 million naira, while a road leading to Hubar and Shehu is to be expanded at the cost of 60 million naira. In Sokoto, Nigerian universities have been challenged to focus on conducting researches for national development. Vice Chancellor Osman Anfori University Sokoto Professor Rizko Arabu Shehu threw the challenge at a 2-day capacity building workshop on research methodology and grantsmanship organized by the university. Correspondent Usman Mohammed Benji sent in this report.
Among other things, universities all over the world are expected to contribute their quota towards national development through carrying out good educational research. However, over the years, research activities in Nigerian universities have suffered setback as a result of poor funding and lack of methodological know-how on the part of academia. As part of efforts to enhance research activities in academic staff, Usman Danfodio University Sokoto organized 2-day workshop on research methodology and grantsmanship. Vice Chancellor Usman Danfodio University Sokoto, Professor Rizko Arabu Shehu, described the workshop as purposeful and timely. Professor Rizko said the success of any research lies in the good understanding of methodological issues. He described as unfortunate the lack of necessary methodological investigation among academic staff to carry out research activities in terms of publishing quality papers and winning research grants from reputable organizations. He said recently, some academic staff in the university submitted 58 research proposals seeking for funding, but only 16 were found worthy of consideration. He attributed such setback to laxity among the academic staff.
If you have universities and universities cannot conduct researches that are relevant to the development of society, then a very significant aspect of our main reason of existing is not met.
The chairman organizing committee of the 2-day workshop, Professor Adejo Abdurrahman, highlighted the importance of research in addressing social problems. He expressed the conviction that the workshop will assist academic staff to conduct good quality research. The workshop is being attended by erudite scholars and professors from different universities across the country.
And that does it from Sokoto. It's back to Elizabeth in Abuja for more on NTA Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Abubakar. Nigeria is to undergo the second African Peer Review Mechanism country review at the NEPAD Head of State Summit scheduled for later this year. Preparatory to this, the National Governing Council of the Africa Peer Review Mechanism is meeting in Abuja to assess the progress made so far. Correspondent Vivian Idekpefo has details.
Nigeria is the only country after Kenya to undergo a second country review, a feat the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Pius Anyim, says underscores government's commitment to entrench good governance, particularly as the country has made progress in the key areas of electoral reforms, constitutional review, and diversification of economy.
Nigeria stands to gain a lot from a diligent and credible implementation of the processes for the periodic review. I therefore urge you to take this assignment very seriously. Government on its part will provide adequate financial and other necessary logistic support to ensure a credible outcome.
Ultimately, our goal is to deepen and entrench good governance in the service delivery system in order that government can impact meaningfully on the lives of our people.
It is also intended to be used to create and open up institutions for service delivery, as well as provide a robust connection between rulers and the citizens.
The African Peer Review Mechanism is aimed at deepening values such as transparency, inclusiveness, and accountability.